This is it, the last expansion of Shadowverse before Worlds Beyond comes out. The name is Heroes of Shadowverse and it's going full fanservice. It's featuring all the previous characters from the story. I'm Ishiro, I played in 2 World Grand Prix for Shadowverse and I'm going to tell you what I think about the new cards right now. Let's check the neutrals first. So Elena, Fire of Destiny. Fanfare, discard 1 non-neutral card from your hand and put 1 of the following in your hand depending on the class of the card. So basically you get back all the previous leaders from Renaissance Chronicles. During the stream it's been announced that some of the leaders are going to be reworked. So Alisana becomes a 1 PP 1-1, Ares becomes 3 PP, and Yuan is 1 PP 1-1-2. Before we get into the leaders, it's a 1 PP 1-1, so you can technically play it on turn 1, but it's going to ask you to get rid of one of your cards. Probably a card that you wanted to keep in the mulligan, so probably one that's part of your main strategy. So going first, I can see it being a bit awkward to play it on 1, maybe you'll have to delay it until you have like a token card to discard. And also since it's a discard, if Discard Dragon is ever a thing, it's going to be played in it. And you have to note it's also +1 shadow. Arisa has always been the weakest one, but now that she's only 1 PP, it will be a lot easier to summon the Forest Guardian Bow. It's a 1 PP amulet with a countdown 2, last words, draw a card, or if you burn the card, draw a card. It could be a buff to Castle technically. She becomes 1 PP, so she'll be able to take the Castle buff, and that will also trigger her effect that deals 1 damage to all enemy followers. But Castle's main weakness was the lack of a good engine, and having access to loop the Forest Guardian Bow, use all your bounces into it to draw cards, I think it's going to really help. And maybe there are users for Storm Arrow in a deck like Iris Control. Isabel has not been unnerfed, so Quadra Magic is still at 2 PP. I do believe that Simale is rotating, so there is no option to go for the 10 damage spell plus double Simale Evo for 20 damage. But she's always been a card that enables spell boost on her own. And we've seen them trying to make spell boost viable with the new 5 PP in the mini expansion. So depending on the rest of the support around spell boost, I can see this being huge. Luna. We've seen so much Luna during the Evolve Shadow period. But the point about Luna is that she was an easy cycle, but now it's behind Elena, so you have to pay 1 PP for Elena, 1 PP for Luna, and 1 PP for the doll. It's 3 PP for 1 draw. I'm not really sure if it will be worth it. And regarding the evolution points, Ilio Shadow is staying in the rotation and it doesn't really need that. And Midrange Shadow already has Zebet that's recovering 2 evolution points on Enhance 8, so I'm not sure they need it either. So it's exciting to see Luna again, but I don't think it will be that impactful in the current context. Ares. Ares was not that good of a card. The problem is that even if he gets buffed to 3 PP, you still need to evolve there to get the leader effect. So you'll still be summoning the Relic Goddess on turn 6 or 7. It's interesting that on turn 3 you could go for Ares for basically 1 PP to 4 wards, solid stats. And you can even play the Sphere right now for a banish if you know what to do with it. But yeah, overall, Ares is around deck, she won't fit into Lara. She won't fit into Elena, she won't fit into Amulets. I don't really see her being impactful at all. Erika, no, that's a huge one, because Rally is a deck where you want to play 1 PP 1-1. The current Rally list is already able to reach Rally 15 pretty fast, around turn 6. And there are also a lot of cards that you actually want to get rid of to fuse or discard, so it's not that big of a drawback around Elena. So yeah, I could definitely see this being impactful. Rowan is solid. If you play him in Buff Dragon, he doesn't get the buff since he goes through Elena, which is a neutral. Big Dragon also doesn't really need it. If there's a Storm Dragon archetype that's going to be born again, it's definitely gonna be in there. Yeah, wait and see on the new support for Owen. Oh yes, it's a bit sad that all of the Warp support is going to rotate with Asphalt. We won't have any Garo Death anymore. So we still have to see how Wrath is going to close the game. Technically, under 10 blood could run this for the extra draw every turn. I'm not sure it's worth the PP investment though. Also, you have to think that it's a 4 PP Urias. You cannot top deck the Elena, play it, and then evolve Urias and play all those spells. You're going to have 1 less PP for that. Yeah, we'll have to see, but I think it's going to be a bit slow. And we need to see if Wrath is getting any new win condition. And Yuan is now 1 PP 1-1. I think it's pretty huge. It was already powerful as a 2 PP 2-2, but that was back when Kasim and Rosa were still in rotation, and they had their own deck basically. Right now there's only artifacts, and Nance is rotating. In the current artifact I think it's possible to have the 10 times resonance by turn 6, So it could be one way to close the game out. Machina Portal could technically discard a useless druid. Oh no, druids are neutral. They need to discard a real card in order to have access to Yuan to shuffle back Cretina or Mikael. I think it's a bit too much troublesome. It's a bit too much effort for not that big of payoff. Yeah, unless they reintroduce really the Resonance archetype, I don't really see Yuan being played. Alright, that was a lot. Next neutral. Nateran piece. But 2 Nateran World Tree. Is it the original? Yeah, okay, it's the original. Into your hand. If at least 5 allied Nateran World Trees have been destroyed this match, restore 2 defense to your leader. Okay. So having the Natura tree in rotation is interesting for the Haven Twins that need 10 amulets destroyed this game. So you have a fast way to actually ramp to this condition. I don't think a deck like Eleven is going to make this effort of playing so many trees. And Spellboost also doesn't really want to play amulets. I have to see in the support if there's a dedicated Natura card for that. And Runes of Iolon. So Fanfare, put a random Machina follower from your deck to your hand. Okay, it's follower, so it cannot charge itself. And last words, put a recovery in your hand. Is it the... yeah. Oh, 2 defense to all allied Machina followers. Okay, interesting. If you have more evolution point than your opponent, draw a card instead. What if I wanted the recovery anyway? Why do I get a new card? But yeah, recovery was not that interesting of a card back then. Except if you are playing Limonia and Eleven, where you actively want to generate and play these. Most decks don't really like them, so drawing a card instead is pretty cool. I think it's cool for at least Machina Portal, because they didn't have any turn 1, and I need to see what's in the new cards. Alright, we have no forest cards, so it's going to be Sword first. Balon, the Lion King. Ward Fanfare, if 10 allied cards have left play this match, evolve this follower. Okay, so it's not really rally. It is cards though, so it could synergize with the trees. Storm Ward, when he evolves, gives your leaders the following effects. Once each turn, when an allied Natural and World Tree is destroyed, put a Luminous Blade in your hand. Natural and World Tree is basically the same. I think that maybe the formulation changed on the first line, but it's basically the same. And Luminous Blade is 0 PP. Give +1/+1 to an allied Natural followers. So it's Natura, it won't synergize with Charlemagne, but needs you to put it on neutral followers. If at least 20 allied cards have left play this match, give it +2/+2 instead. If you selected the Balon, deal 2 damage to a random enemy power. So the idea is that you play a deck that makes a lot of tree, you speed up the Balon condition, you play a first one that's going to proc the leader effect, then play a tree and maybe you can put a Luminous Blade, that's 5 damage. Or only 4 damage if you're only at 10 cards. And then the second Balon you're going to play, you're going to have like 2 or 3 Luminous Blade for 7 or 9 for only 3 play points. You could also play Erika and put all the Luminous Blade into Erika. That also works. Doesn't need you to draw a second Balon. Wait, what the fuck? He gains Evo stats. Even though he gains Storm. Okay, so that's a lot more damage. Yeah, if you put like 5 blades on Balon, it's like 15 damage? Question mark? Ah, but it's not really realistic because you're only getting 1 blade a turn. The thing I don't like about this is that you get a huge incentive to use your play points for Nata and World Tree, and not for followers, so it doesn't synergize that well with Rally. I'm not super impressed, to be honest. I think I prefer playing Rally for now. Fairy Strike, Fusion, Swordcraft followers. Summon 2 Steel-clad Knights, so it's a 1-2, oh, it's a 2-2, okay. If this has been fused with at least 1 card, you summon a Natural and World Tree, okay. Oh, I see. Okay, the rework is so that it's not on Fanfare only, it's also when you summon them from effect. So if you already have a World Tree and you summon it with this spell, it's going to be destroyed and you draw one. Okay. If it's fused with at least 2 cards, deal 5 damage to a random enemy flower. Solid. If it's fused with at least 3, you summon 2 Fox Spearmen instead of the Steel Knights. And Fox Spearman is 1/1 Storm, summon a World Tree. Huh. So let's say you're turn 3, you fuse 3 into this card, and you play it. So you get 2 damage, you don't have to trade because you killed the follower. Probably their turn 2 or their turn 3. And when the fox die, you're going to get 2 trees on play. You already had a tree on play, so you're going to draw 2 cards. It's been a total of 4 cards that left play for Balon. So you fuse 3 cards, you played 1 card, you got 2 draws, so you lost 2 cards in the process. It's expensive. I think that on turn 3 just fusing 1 should be okay. You still get a nice board, and you get your first 3 out. You could fuse 2 if there's an ambush follower that you absolutely need to kill. And later in the game you probably don't care about card advantage anymore, so there you can fuse 3. There's no big synergy with fuse cards in Sword yet. It's interesting, but it's a bit scary to make such a hand investment. Oh, so Fox Spearman is a base card. Huh, okay. Oh, so now you can see you go Fox Spearman turn 1, it dies on the next turn, you have a 3, and when you play the spell on 3, you actually get 3 card draw. So it's only a -1, which is normal. Okay. Wait, so if you really get a good roll, you could have the Balon effect on turn 4, and you play also like these turn guys also, that you can put the spell on? Okay, it's starting to get interesting. Next is Rune, and you got Miser. Fanfare. Put an Ascending Conviction into your hand. If this card has been spell boosted at least 5 times, put 2 in your hand. Okay, so now it's a spell boost card. And devolves extra 1 to the cost of all the Ascending Convictions. Okay, what is it? Is it the spell you used to have? Yeah, 1 PP. So you're going to 0 PP spell if you evolve. Deal 2 damage to a random enemy follower. That's good because you don't have a 2 target, so you can play it even if there's no board on the opponent's field. If you played at least 3 in this match, you deal 2 damage to the enemy leader. Okay. If this has been spell boosted at least 5 times, you put another 1 in your hand. Ah. Okay, that's pretty cool. So you could play Miser on turn 1 as a goblin, and you could either use a spell on turn 2 to clear their 2/2, or you could wait to spell boost it to have more spells, or you could hold on to Miser until the first spell boost turn. You get 2 of the spells, and you can either use them now for 0 PP and enable like a Fate Send or other spell boost cards, or you could wait a bit to have another 1 and start having the face damage. I think what's impressive about this card is that it's going to be scaling with how many copies of Miser you draw. Let's imagine you draw all 3 copies of Miser, and you got a total of 6 spells in your hand. The first 3 ones are going to be just 2 damage to a follower, but the next 3 ones are going to be 6 damage. For free, basically. Or I imagine just for 3 PPs. So it could really help during the setup that are not 100% lethal. The other cool thing is that he's a follower to fuse for Isabel, and he has a new name of spell for Isabel. Okay, great card. Auto-include in spell boost. Eleanor, 3 PP 2/2. Fanfare, put Splendid Mysticism in your hand and draw a card. Spell boost the cards in your hand, okay. And if you have more evolution points than your opponent, recover 2 play points. But she has no evo effect. Alright, so it's a bit like Meltina. You get plus 2 cards in your hand, the spell and the draw, and then you spell boost. So it's a solid turn 3. Turn 4 it will only be 1 PP, so also a solid turn 4 going second. Let's see what the token is. Deal 3 damage to an enemy follower, restore 3 defense to your leader, okay great. Spell boost 1 more damage. I think the heal 3 is huge. And once again, it's going to be a base follower that you can fuse into Isabel, that's going to give you a new spell name that you don't have in your deck. So I think the synergy with Isabel is actually great. Yeah, this is going to be able to negate the bad early game that spell boost usually has. Because now you cover Goblin, you got this on 2, and then you got like all spells removals with heal. Yeah, this is strong, this is very strong. If they keep adding cards into spell boost and we have a way to deal 20 in 1 turn with the Isabel, I think it could be tier 1 potential. Next is Shadow. Atem. Oh, nice. Yu-Gi-Oh reference. I love it. Ward. Fanfare deals 7 damage to the enemy leader. Okay. Aggressive. If you spent at least 20 shadows to perform Necromancy this match, recover 4 play points and evolve this follower. Okay, so it's the same idea as Carninos. And on evolve, it's still a ward, cannot take more than 2 damage at a time. And it evolves, gain 10 shadows. Oh. So the play point recovery is not tied with the evolution, it's tied to the 20 shadow condition. So there's no option to go turn 7, evolve and play another one with the new shadows. There's no world where you can play 3 of these in the same turn to deal 21, because you would need 11 max PP. You go to 11, then down to 9, then down to 7. So the best you can do is turn 9, you play 2 of them, that's a bit slow. I'm trying to think what good Necromancy cards Shadow has for this condition. We do get back a way to have Luna, so that could be that. The cannot take more than 2 damage at a time, not that great. She only has 6 PP, it would have been better if the stats were reversed. Maybe it would have been too good. But okay, this definitely requires its own deck, it's not going to mid-range Shadow or Helio. I'm fine with this. Next is in Bloodcraft, Chaotic Chimera, 12 PP 66. Fusion cards. That's the best kind of fusion. Whenever cards are fused into this, subtract 3 from its cost. And you can only fuse if Wrath is active for you. So you can only start fusing at around turn 4 or 5, depending on how your early game went. And when you play it, it's a ward. Fanfare deals 6 damage to all enemies, restore 6 defense to your leader, draw 3 cards. Okay, so it kinda reimburses itself. So when you fuse, it goes to 9, then it goes to 6, then it goes to 3, then to 0. But it takes a turn every time. And it's gonna be pretty expensive in hand if you fuse multiple at the same time. If you could like prepare 3 of them at the same time, you could play them and deal 18 and that's almost game. But I don't think you draw 3 cards per turn. Maybe with Orias it's a bit easier, but every Chaotic Chimera that you draw a bit late is not going to be so good. I feel if you play it at 6, it's pretty reactive, but it's not so bad for surviving against an aggro deck, for instance. At 3 PP it's good value, at 0 PP it's really great. Alright, we have to see how fast we can reach Wrath, and we have to see how much card draw the Blood have, to make sure you get this card and you can keep on fusing. I think it's strong, but unless the support is very strong, it's tied to a bit too much conditions for it to work. At least to be a tier 1. Concordia, 5 PP 1-1, Havencraft. Invocation at the end of your turn, if you have at least 1 evolution point, and at least one of them has been used this turn, you invoke it. Alright, so technically could be an invoke on turn 4 or 5, because you use an evolution point as normal, and then you still have 1. And if you go second, you can summon 2 of them on turn 5 and 6. Okay. Ward, banish an enemy follower, give your leader this effect and evolve this follower. The next time you take damage, reduce that damage to 0. Okay, solid. And 1 on each opponent turn when they play a follower, restore 2 defense to your leader. Oh. So they will need to play a rush follower and immediately trade this. It's a 1 PP ward, so it's easy to take care of. But you still get a heal too. And if they don't have a rush... Oh, but no way they leave this on the board. Okay, what does it do on evolve? Once on each opponent turn, when they play a follower, give it -2/-2 and restore 2 defense to your leader. Okay, that's interesting. Because now they cannot just play a cheap 2 PP follower and rush and boom, that's done. They are going to play something that has at least 3 HP, evolve it for the Concordia, and then they can continue with their turn. So sadly, Eluvia doesn't proc on the opponent's turn, so it's not going to buff your follower when you get healed. But when you click the end turn button, you first resolve the invoke, then you resolve the Eluvia effect, so you heal for 1, and then you buff your bird. So she's not going to be a simple 1-1. She's not going to be evolved. There's going to be an extra body to profit on. If you play it on 5, it's a super passive move. It's not that hard to get rid of, because you basically passed a turn. Yeah, I think it's a win more card, if you have to play it from hand. Maybe there's a control even that wants to play that. Amulet doesn't want to play that for sure. Oh, but it's a 5 PP, so it's good for Lina. It's one more way to stall for Lina, and they have ways to recover evolution points. Okay, so it's basically free advantage for Eluvia, and free advantage for Lina. Alright, I still think that Lina is a meme deck, and I still think this is a bit of a passive card, but it's interesting. Oh, Selena is back, nice! 4 PP 3/4, Ward. Fanfare, you put a Fury Reproach in your hand. If you have more evolution points than your opponent, you recover 2 play points. And on evolve, you get another copy of the spell. Okay. Is it gonna be Skullfane? Destroy an allied amulet! What? For 1 PP! Oh! Deal 4 damage to a random enemy follower. At the end of his turn, if 10 allied amulets have been destroyed, deal 4 damage to the enemy leader. Whoa! 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 It's good! Okay, I was talking about the twins in Haven when we saw the natural amulet. This is super great because normally you would have to wait with the twins. Now you can have the effect immediately. Oh, and the other thing, you can play your 9th amulet, you can destroy it with the Fairy Reproach, and have the full board ready for the twins. Oh, okay. Is there any good amulet to destroy with this? Sadly, in rotation right now, there's no like big card that says Crystallize, Summon itself, that you really want to get out of this. And you have to think it's still a 4 PP investment if you go first. 2 PP investment if you go second. It's still 2 PP you're not using to play amulets. If you have 2 of them, it's 8 damage if you could play both of them. It does stack. So maybe there's a setup to make sure that the twins and this and 2 times this is 20. So we don't even need to play an Ariel anymore. You can also destroy the natural entry and draw a card. Okay, I think this is interesting. There could be a great amulet deck that works, but the PP investment looks like it's a lot. We have to see in the building if it actually works. Baphomet Lore Taker. Fusion Machina cards. So, here's a Machina so you can tutor it with Violon. Okay. Whenever cards are fused into this card, if it's the first time this match and you have 4 or 5 play points, use 4 play points to summon Tisiphon. If the second time and you have 6 or 7 play points, you use 6 and you summon Alecto. Okay. So you basically stop playing cards. Fanfare is if this has been fused with at least 2 cards, you summon Tisiphon, Alecto, and Megara. Megara? Evolve the non-evolved allied Machina followers. So basically one of the ones you summoned. Okay, let's see how they rework them. So Tisiphon, oh, it's only 4 PP, okay. Rush. 7 damage to the enemy follower, okay. Can attack 2 times per turn, okay, so clear 2 things. Pretty free. Rush, it's 8 damage on Evo, and it attacks 3 times. Wow, okay. And you summon them at turn 4. Huh. Okay, pretty strong. Megara. 8-6. If his follower can be targeted by enemy effects, your opponent can only target this follower. Okay. When this follower comes into play, deal 6 damage to the enemy leader and draw 5 cards. 5! Wow. Okay. But you only get this one when you play Baphomet on turn 8. Okay. So basically, if you have Isabel's Crimson Sorcery, you cannot target face, you have to target this. I'm not sure there are many relevant effects for this. And Alecto is 6 PP 5-5. Ward, Clash restore 2 defense to your leader. Cannot take more than 2 damage at a time. Can't be destroyed by effects. Okay, and you can evolve it. So it takes 4 instances of damage to kill it. It can still be banished, but it's not super free to clear it. And when you evolve Baphomet, you can either evolve Alecto to make it bigger, or Tisiphon to just have a free clear on 3 things. Oh, it's interesting because if you play the mirror match, and the opponent is evolving Alecto, you're only going to deal 2 damage with the follower strike of Tisiphon, and then it's going to crash into the 7-7. So the first one that plays Baphomet wins. Technically, you could also skip one of them if you don't need the Machina followers exactly. You also have to think that on turn 8, if you're playing Machina, you're probably summoning Gretina. So with Megara it's 6 damage, Gretina 6 damage, that's 12 damage. We don't have Kizrael anymore, so I think that Machina actually enjoys having this kind of top end. And he can actually fuse the Druids. I think that most of our decks are going to be able to kill through Baphomet, but the decks that cannot, or the decks that don't die to Machina before, is going to be pretty interesting. And for the last card of today, we have Duel with Destiny. Choose, use play points equal to this card's cost. Okay, so 3. And play this card as Yuan Fervor or Baphomet's Authority. Yuan Fervor, summon an enchant artifact and an analyzing artifacts. If you have more evasion points than your opponents, recover 2 play points. Okay. So you get 1 trade and 1 draw. You get 2 artifact names out of the 6 that you need. I think Agile is fused Portalcraft cards, so you can fuse it. If you go second, you can go this into Agile, but you don't get the bonus from Agile effects. And Baphomet Authority, deal 3 damage to all enemy followers. If you have a card that in your hand that originally costs at least 8 play points, deal 6 damage instead. Okay, so if you're playing Baphomet, it's 3 PP 6 damage AoE. Do you really want to play that? Because the old Duel with Destiny was cool, because you could have both effects if you are in resonance. But is it really that interesting to have the option? You ever get a vanilla draw and trade? Or you get 6 damage AoE? I guess that Baphomet wants to stay alive until Baphomet. And this is going to clear like a huge board from turn 5 or 6. So it's still interesting. And you still have play points to heal a bit. I don't feel like Artifact wants to spend 3 play points just for that. I guess if you have the Evolution Recovery, it's great. I'm not sure. I think this card is not that good. I think it will be like a 1 or 2 off when you don't know what to put in your deck, but not something you really absolutely want to play. Alright, that's it for today. Let me know in the comments what you thought about the cards from today. I am pretty excited and I think I'm probably going to get updated on the story. Remember to share, like and subscribe if you like the video and want me to do more. And I will probably do another reaction when we get another update on the official site. See ya!